Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Tasos Kalimos. Happy to be joining you guys for another edition of College Football Picks here on the Guy Boston Sports YouTube channel. Guys, week 13 is here, the final week of the regular season, and I have some picks for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed your Thanksgiving holiday. Hope you guys are still stuffing your faces with leftovers. I know I am. Got a great slate. Now, I do apologize a little bit here because obviously we had a lot of games happen on Friday due to the Black Friday and the holiday and everything. A lot of good ranked games that obviously I missed. So I do apologize. I've been taking the week to kind of recharge the batteries. Thanksgiving holiday. If you've noticed, I haven't done any NBA videos this week. I did do a couple NFL videos. But took a little break this week, but we are back in it, and we do have some really great games here on this Saturday slate. So let's dive right in. So starting off, guys, I got two picks here in the Texas A&M LSU game. Really great SEC battle. Starting off, give me the over 66.5. Look, I have loved betting LSU overs all season long, and they have been pretty high, which is why we've had a couple unders on them. But I really love the spot here. I mean, Texas A&M has scored 30-plus points in each of their last 4 games. So this is a team that can put up points, and against one of the worst defenses in the country in LSU, I expect Texas A&M to score points. And if you watched LSU this season, you know that they're not afraid to score points. And it kind of feels like for LSU, I mean, obviously they're trying to help their bowl position, and a win here would obviously help them in where they're going to play come bowl season. But I do think at this point, honestly, what they're playing for most of all maybe is to get Jaden Daniels a Heisman Trophy. And so I think they're going to try and score as much as they can and run up the score. Now, the one thing that worries me a little bit, and the reason why the line right now is at like minus 105 on FanDuel, is because of the fact that Texas A&M actually has a pretty solid defense. And so they have a defense that could potentially slow LSU down. And actually, speaking of keeping the game close, I'm going to take Texas A&M plus 13. I just think this is way too many points. I mean, it just, LSU with the defense they have going, and Texas A&M is no pushover. They're 7-4. They're a solid SEC team. I think Texas A&M, they have the ability to score. They have a great defense. The fact that this is a 13-point spread, I know it's in Death Valley. It's, rivalry week, end of the season. LSU playing for a little bit more here than maybe the Aggies are. I can't believe this is a 13-point spread. So give me that. I'm hammering that spread with the over 66.5. Those are my two picks for this game. Moving right along, guys, we go into the Iron Bowl. Alabama, Auburn. Give me Alabama minus 13.5. And yeah, guys, it's hard for me not to back Bama here. It feels like they have finally figured their shit out. They've been on a roll in their last 4 games. They have won each of those last 4 by 14 or more points. Now, I know it's at Auburn on the road. This rivalry game sometimes gets a little crazy. We've had some really historic matchups between these two teams. But Auburn is just not that great this year. And Alabama, like I said, they finally turned the corner. They're a great team, and they have college football playoff aspirations. They're going to take care of business here. They've been taking care of business the last few weeks. Jalen Milroe has finally found his form in Tommy Rees's offense. So I just love Bama here. I love the spot for them to cover. Like I said, each of their last 4 games, they won by 14 or more points. And those were against better opponents. Most of them, can't really speak on Chattanooga, but most of those games were against teams that are better than Auburn. And I know it's a road game, no rivalry game, all that stuff. But that's not worrying me here. Give me Bama minus 13.5. All right, guys, cruising right along. We're going to Florida State at Florida. Battle of the backup quarterbacks. Unfortunately, both quarterbacks suffered season-ending injuries. Graham Mertz breaks his collarbone. Jordan Travis with a horrific lower body injury that ended his college career, essentially. Prayers out to Jordan Travis. What a horrible injury, especially like a guy who with NFL draft aspirations right before the draft for that to happen. Horrible. But it does have an effect on this game, obviously. You have 2 backup quarterbacks coming in. I am going to go ahead and take Florida, not Florida State, Florida, plus 6.5 here. Now, is Florida State the better team? Yes. Have they had the better season? Yes. Why am I taking Florida then? Well, number one, they're at home in primetime, and you've got a backup quarterback playing for A&M. Well, Tasso, so doesn't Florida. Yeah, but you're at home. And to me, this really comes down to I just don't think this Florida State team is battle tested. Now, if Jordan Travis were here, I think that this is not even a question. The line wouldn't even be this, by the way. The line would be like 10.5, 11.5, 12.5. Like Florida State would be a heavy favorite if Jordan Travis were playing. The reason the line is where it's at is because he's not. But Texas A&M just not battle tested. This quarterback isn't battle tested, obviously, but this team isn't battle tested. This is probably one of their top 3, if not their second toughest game they played all season. Florida State has the 62nd toughest schedule this season. Or they've had, the 62nd toughest schedule this season. Florida's had like the 4th toughest. This Florida team, I know, and again, for them, it's also a similar situation. No Graham Mertz. If Graham Mertz were playing, this line would be like 3.5, I think, or 3. But this is a Florida team that has been extremely battle tested. All they've done is play elite competition. And when you look at Florida State, like their toughest game, probably week 1 versus LSU. I mean, there's some other games in there you can maybe throw in, but feels like that LSU game back in week 1 is probably their toughest opponent. Florida is probably their second toughest opponent, honestly. And that's coming from a 6-5 team. The ACC, incredibly weak this year. Florida State, an incredibly cupcake schedule. And I think in the swamp, primetime game, backup quarterback, Florida really at this point just fighting, for something. I don't know. I like the swamp here, plus 6.5. I'm not taking money line or anything. I'm going to take the points, plus 6.5. I just think Florida State's going to struggle on the road here. All right, guys, and that does it for our show. Oh, wait a second. Am I forgetting something? Let me check my notes. I feel like there's a game I'm forgetting. Did I cover all the games? Oh, that's right. The game. Sorry, guys. I know that was a little bit cringy, but I couldn't finish the video without talking about, obviously, the game that everybody wants to talk about. Everybody is talking about Ohio State, Michigan. One of the best things every year in college football is this Ohio State-Michigan showdown. It's historic rivalry for a reason. Some great games. Michigan has won the last couple matchups here. Kind of a tough decision to make here. I will say if Jim Harbaugh was on the sidelines coaching, I probably would be leaning a little bit more towards Michigan. I'm taking Ohio State plus 3.5, and especially because of that number. 3.5 points. I love that spot. I love that number. So I like the fact that is where we are at here. That's probably not the only reason I'm taking Ohio State, but it definitely is pushing me more towards Ohio State. And the fact that Michigan needs to win by 4 or more, and I don't think this game's going to be really, really tight and really, really close. And I do think the lack of Harbaugh does affect this team. You've seen it. J.J. McCarthy, since the suspension, he's kind of fallen off a little bit. This offense is not as great. And yeah, they beat Penn State without Harbaugh, but that's just, I think, more commentary on Ben Franklin and Penn State. Did I say Ben Franklin? James Franklin and Penn State. I think it's more commentary on them and their program. I mean, they're the Dallas Cowboys of college football. They beat up on bad teams and they lose to all the good teams. But I think you saw last week they kind of hung Maryland around. Like, you know what I mean? Like Michigan didn't play their best against Maryland. Maryland kind of hung around. It kept a tight game with a Maryland team that really had no business keeping that game close with Michigan. I just think Ohio State has the firepower to do it. And I think Michigan, I know they were united in the Penn State game. They're united, and usually I like that. I don't know. I think Michigan not having Harbaugh here really is going to hurt them. Ohio State's too good of a team to not have your coach on your sidelines. I like Ohio State here plus 3.5. This is going to be a really, really good game. I expect this coming down to the final couple of minutes, maybe even overtime. That's the kind of matchup I foresee here. So, guys, that is it for me, the Week 13 college football slate. I appreciate all you guys watching and joining us all year long. Of course, this is not my last video. We do have more college football to come, but this does mark the end of the regular season. So I appreciate you guys who have followed me. I started back in Week 6. I took over from Ev. I appreciate you guys from Week 6 and on following me. I love the support. Hope you guys enjoyed your Thanksgiving holiday. Hope you continue to enjoy your Thanksgiving holiday weekend. I know I am. Apologies again for those who do watch my other videos on the channel that I have not produced a lot of stuff this week. Again, Thanksgiving holiday, took the opportunity to kind of give myself a little bit of a break. But we are here, college football. Hope you guys are all winners, and I'll see you all next week.